Hi guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining me today. And I am here to just share a little bit more about what I've been learning about. And I hope you find yourself well today. It's going to be a quick video. I'm going to make sure it's less than what the other one was. But really just kind of want to take you through three things today, sort of just techniques for meal prepping. It's meal prepping week. And I just wanted to give my 2 cents on that. Two, like simple steps that you can do and recreate in your own home and use right away. And three, invitation to that 30-day challenge coming up August 7th. So here we go. I hope you get a lot of good tips that you can use right away today. All right, so I'm going to share screen again. Hopefully this time it works a little bit better just to get myself set up here. And I did want to just kind of recap what we talked about last meeting, because that's like sort of where I feel we could just benefit if we didn't catch the video prior to this one. Really talking about just how to start with plant-based forward foods. And if you're like me and trying to challenge yourself, particularly this month, you would probably imagine that going vegan is a little extreme, and that's okay if it's not for everybody. But everybody can add a little something. So some things to consider when going more plant-based, we have awesome ingredients, and I'm going to go ahead and whip myself up sort of what I do to add more plants, okay, more sort of concepts of plants in my day. This is our beverage mix, and it is incredible. Zero sugar, kids love it. It's a nice alternative to maybe that milk. And yes, it's not vegan, but I will say it's vegetarian, which is great. And it is wild berry flavor. It mixes awesome with your teas at home, your turmeric, your ginseng, your cayenne pepper if you like things spicy. And it's just absolutely amazing. I just love the zero sugar, and it's like bridging the gaps and making me remember that, of course, like we need all protein, right? So vegan diets have that challenge where we need to make sure we're not nutrient deficient. So here are some awesome ways. I hope you can see this time. This is that plant-based lifestyle reimagined line that just came out, Herbalife V. And you're going to see one thing that I added in my cart this month is that, vegetable forward dinners, dishes, side plates, snacks. They recommend 5 to 7 really kind of servings of this or these kinds of foods. And what's awesome is everything is vegan here. So I'm going to be starting with 2 things this month. In August, I'm going to be trying out that plant-based greens booster for sure. They say it's the best flavor that there is. Mung root is the sugar that they use. Monk fruit is the sugar that they use, and it's supposed to be just delightful. So I'm excited for that one. And I'm also excited for that plant-based immune support. So more to come on that, but those are the 2 things I'm definitely going to be changing up in my routine personally. And then I also talked about the other idea, right? So we want plant-based, plant-forward foods. And I shared with you what I am going to be following. And this is sort of this idea of how to reimagine your dishes, your food style. And not for nothing, it's tough. It's majorly tough to get everything in when you want, when you need, right? And so this is one way that I can sort of use as a visual for me, and also just sort of inform the family, like, we're not both going vegan, right? So that's going to be super important to remember. And here we sort of just see this idea of like concepts, right? So I am not a registered dietitian. I never have claimed to be, but as a health coach, you can get some tips on how you want to approach your own personal goals. And for me, it's this is something we can all take away from, right? We can all practice our vegan muscle. And I took you guys through, I hope you printed this for yourselves, how to go about planning for grocery shopping and things. And so I just wanted to kind of highlight some of the things that I did talk about last video. And so I am in addition to, right, the awesome alternative vegetarian options, there are some other options too. So I got myself pearl couscous this grocery run. I ended up getting other ingredients like farro or farro. This is so, so, so good. Okay. And then obviously the powerhouse quinoa, which is awesome. And the delicious one and only corn tortillas. Okay. So vegan delights, which just I'm super excited about, because now first time for, after a while, I sort of was able to finally share this with you guys. And I do want to make sure, this is like that Herbalife beverage mix, 15 grams of protein, which is amazing. It is a whey base, beet colored by beets, which is great. And it tastes so good, like so refreshing, hands down. Everyone, add that. Okay. So we want to now sort of stop this share, and I'm going to move forward to the last topic we're going to talk about, which is that meal prepping. So a lot of us are very curious when it comes down to, how is it, or what's the hot take on some of the meal prep experience that I've accumulated over the past, officially 8 years, I suppose, since I've been doing this. And it's one thing that I want to ensure, everyone's aware of. And we want to, sort of set the objectives real quick. By the end of this video, you will master how to meal prep like a star, which is amazing. And that's why I'm here. So, kind of going ahead and outlining some of the things that I want to talk about today. Remember, and as always, if you haven't registered for the August Health Lab, that is around the corner. We start on Monday. We're celebrating the sun. We're celebrating summer. We're celebrating healthy habits, so that going into the school year, it's slam dunk. You got it. And have some really good, have taken some actionable steps, some like really smart steps. So it starts Monday. Yeah. And really want to make sure you join us, because you're going to be, missing out on health coaching, on more videos like these. You don't want to miss. And you also get to learn along the way. You get a whole live community. You get tons of tips like galore, all included. And it's just awesome. And we do this every single month forever. Right. So here is some of my like knowledge around building long-lasting results, because that's the name of the game. That's what I love to instill in everyone that I meet. Is this is the long run. There used to be called the LPs, the long plays. This is the LRs, long play. LPs, long play. Long play. Yes. Anyway, something about these records, but yeah. So when we talk about long-lasting results, we want to make sure that we are just kind of thinking about things holistically around the idea that, in our health journey, we have to balance somehow 5 stars, five ends, right, to our existence, right? There's, and I've talked about those in other videos, but one of those pinnacles is nutrition, and it's the foundation. And if you agree, right, we want to make sure that we're kind of considering how to meal prep, right? How do we meal prep? How do we make sure that we're meal prepping smart? And the ingredients that I've mentioned before are really helpful. And that's the best part, right? So beets and why. So when I started my journey, I wanted to find out what foods I could include real quick so that my diet could become variety rich. And what most of us are experiencing is, whether or not we are aware of it or not, it depends on where we are in our journeys. Like we kind of, and I notice it's like, it's cycles, right? Sometimes, in the winter, salads don't really aren't great. Like it's hard, right? And to kind of like chew all that, right? Whereas in the summer, it's easy. So the seasons change and our palates change along with it, right? This changing of seasons, and it's happening right now. So this is like the hottest time that you can kind of gift yourself that health, right? That health where it's like you have no questions about what you're doing, what you're drinking. You are in control and feeling great, right? So along with that, meal prepping, right? This took me 2 seconds. Okay. What are some other quick tips? What are some really instant full possible like actionable steps? Well, here I am. I've just prepped the garbanzos. You see that as I have taken the time to write this down. I don't usually do this, but just so that you see how I think, like what is meal prepping, right? It shouldn't take hours. It shouldn't take days. It shouldn't take all this headspace. It's like, it shouldn't. And I'll be adding some documents that go along with this video. If you want to see some ideas on how I approach grocery shopping, there's a whole other like just encyclopedia, right, of like how to do it. But what are some really quick actionable steps? So here are the four. You have garbanzos. Like, don't underestimate them, whether they're canned, whether they're whole, from grain to water to your plate. Like, gobble them up. Find ways to add fresh garbanzos. I have the emulsifier, so I can make my own chickpea dips, which they're second to none if you make them from home. There's so many added benefits. Knowing exactly the ingredients that's in your tub of garbanzo is key. And also you can measure the fat that goes in and the quality of the fat, all things that we want to consider when making hummus. And then 2, bake sweet potatoes. So I just like took out the sweet potatoes, didn't do anything to them. The oven was at 400 for 30 minutes. I can do other things. I know that I'm baking. I kind of weave it in my little tiny bits and pockets of time that I have. Make no fuss. If you want, you can poke a few holes. There they are. This is it, right? And you can add a little olive oil, a little salt, like make it simple, right? That's what's awesome. And you got that. 3, boil little potatoes. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but like many things drive me nuts. They are amazing, right? They're like, I just love it. So I don't know. In Colombia, where I'm from, they have these potatoes called criolla potatoes, and they like deep fry them, and they're tiny and they're so flavorful. It's amazing. And here we are, right? Years and years later, like the little potatoes out, and it's just absolutely delicious. You can add it as a side to every meal. It gives you that good complex carb, and you preparing them at home really connects you to the earth, makes you feel whole. It's amazing, right? And then the last one is cook, farro, and quinoa. Like, I think these are huge in that like health world. There's a reason for it. It's Inca treasure. Okay. This is gold in for like prehistoric cultures. And it's incredible that we get in today's day and age access to this. So this is awesome. And again, I could do a whole like how to cook these things if you'd like. That would be awesome. I could definitely do a live Zoom on this community page where we can just gather and share recipes or share how we prepare, different foods. It'd be awesome, right? All right. So why the hassle? What's the deal? Like, why meal prep, right? A lot of us don't okay, maybe we understand the benefits, but really we don't understand how our body works. And when we understand why our body works a certain way and how it works under certain conditions, we have a whole set of information that we can use right away and measure, right? And so here's my hot take on the body and how it works. Okay. So here's the top 8 things we got to know, like real quick, right? So 1, complex carbohydrates, which is what these top 4 foods are, right? And protein with the beans, or the whole complex, like full combination of them, right? Because I can mix and match, right? The combination of them, right, is the primary source of energy that our bodies prefer. So we want to, whenever we think like, what does our body thrive on? You want to think on lists like the 1, 2, 3, 4 on how to meal prep, right? And have those things in your house, available. Use parchment paper. If it's a hassle, get creative. There's so much variety out there of dishes, and keep it simple. That's the bottom line here with meal prep. It's keep it simple, because then you can build, right? You can build off of those simple things that you always have, right? Okay. Your like main choice, essentially, like, kind of keeping it simple that way. What's your main choice in all the dishes, right? That one thing you're going to have a few times along with everything else, right? The body, top two, right? So our diet and health all depend on us happy with our foods. A lot of us sort of contradict ourselves. We match like happiness with certain foods and experiences. This is good for up to a point, but then we want to remember that what really satisfies us, right, satisfies maybe those things that I know I feel, right, those like senses of like insecurity, scarcity, withdrawal, abandonment, loss, a whole other measure of emotions, right? We want to like kind of satisfy those hunger pains, and we want to make sure that we're giving our body exactly what it needs, that so that it helps us heal, right? And like not have those spikes in sugar intake, because that's not indefinitely going to lead us to somewhere healthy, right? So like, so those kinds of things. My top three, happiness is us complete. Like there's nothing like us whole, complete, partnered up with total nutrition, partnered up with, self-help, partnered up with good company, good friendships, partnered up with good sleep, partnered up with good, frustration, mitigation, right? With through regulators in your day, right? And so this all improves our total health, our total well-being, right? So top four is mindset around meal prepping. Usually is what drives us to quit. A lot of us, like myself, started incredibly overwhelmed, never mind being a mom. Like you guys, if I gave you guys a little bit of like a snip of what I did during pregnancy to just like keep myself like sort of like in this sequence of health and things, a lot of you would be shocked. Like you'd be like, what? Like crazy, right? But when you prioritize, it's effortless. It really is. And I think that if you just keep it simple and you do it, so that you're like building that muscle, right? We start with 1 pound, and then we go to 2, and then we go to 3, and we never really go more than that because we're doing overhead stuff. Like, and so what's the 1, 2, 3 things that you can do, right? So that's important. And don't forget, right? The facts are true. Like 9 out of 10 adults fail their fitness and health quest, because it's just they don't have the support, they don't have the right why, or the why that drives them forward, right? The connection, the friendship, the whole thing, like that's huge. So top six, mindfulness means different things too. Like don't just be like, oh well, Claudia does all this stuff, and this is why I can, or that I won't, or like whatever it is. Like think of really like that your journey is so unique that it deserves the effort, and that like tiny little bit of switch, right, to help us learn about ourselves and see that we can do it, right? And I think what really helps really is to just like, I've noticed, like even in my own mothering journey, right? I'm learning how to be a mom. I'm learning how to balance this and be happy with it so I can rise with grace, right? Rise with that like hopeful and possible, mentality. And around meal prepping, you guys, I mean, what you see on the internet and what you see on Pinterest and what you see, like, we don't all have that like luxury time. So like these are the few things that I know tried and true, like, I guess, again, like chopping those vegetables, having those vegetables on your counter, they say is like incredible, right? Because you're like, oh, what am I gonna make today that might have this ingredient? Like getting really curious around how to meal prep, how to make it fun, like not going all out, like where you're like limiting yourself and like it taking a whole thing. So you have to change your whole lifestyle, but kind of just do those tiny little things that help you build confidence, and sharing it with your buddies, people in your team, like in your court, is awesome too. Like, it's like a team effort, right? And as always, be gentle on yourself. Part of the reason that I'm giving you guys this kind of stuff is because it's helped me so much realize that meal prepping isn't that bad. And I will be showing and sharing with you how I go about meal prepping, like nitty-gritty style, with copies of the PDF on how to meal prep. And I'll also share this document And I think that's it. So stay tuned next time for what's ahead, right? Week 3, we're going to be talking about sourdough and what is sourdough? What's the deal? Why do vegans love sourdough? And for 4th week, we're going to be talking about plants and proteins. So stay tuned for more information on how to take care of yourself, how to recommit, and stay connected. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.